former prisoner and inmate.
You did it.
What are you doing, Guns?
You bit the hell out of me.
Wanna see you with your hands up. Going straight to the sky, let me see you put your hands up. Cause we do till we die and we on another level.
I'm at New York City.
To the first we get by, the got a piece of the pie. Told you once, told you twice that we only got one life.
On the way to achieve success after prison, he's going to share his story with us right now.
Diamond shine, best at night. You wear yours, I'll wear mine. Go dumb tonight.
What's up? So I told this story about Vegas one time years ago, right, on my YouTube channel, and my wife didn't like it because it involved a bunch of girls, and me whoring around in Las Vegas. First time I was in Vegas, and I get it. I mean, your wife doesn't want to hear about that and doesn't want you putting it out there. So I'm going to tell the story again, a shortened version of it, but it does kind of illustrate that I wasn't a total whore, right? So actually, if I tell it the truth about it, I wasn't a total whore. Yes, I was macking on chicks, picking up girls, whatever, but I didn't sleep with any. So, we'll see. So years ago, this is right before I got locked up, about 2 years before I got locked up. I've told the story how I used to work at this home improvement company. It was a good sales job. I made a ton of money. He was making like 120 grand a year. And I became friends with the owner. Good dude. And so I ended up going to Vegas with him. He ends up taking us to Vegas. Like his upper sales team and his management takes us all to Vegas. And I had never been to Vegas, And I was taught all my life not to gamble. It's a sucker's bet. Tony Jack taught me how to play poker. And when he did that, he's like, be the house. You can be the house. Him and my uncle Nicky taught me together on my birthday with a bunch of my cousins, and they showed me how to play poker, the game, whatever. But he also we was cutting the pots, and he was saying, see, look how much money I got. I didn't play a hand. Only suckers bet, don't bet. So all my life, I would run dice games in high school at parties and stuff, even clubs. I go right on the freaking pool table and be like, yo, let's roll 3 dice. And I would house these games, and I make a bunch of money. Not a bunch, but, on a good night, I make $300. A bad night, make $80 or 100. But whatever the case is, pay dice for 45 minutes and make $80. It's not bad. Some days I might make $300, $400, $500. But it was always kind of a little side hustle that I did, plus selling weed and everything else. But I never gambled head up. Didn't play poker. Didn't do nothing. So I was never like the kind of guy who goes, let's go to Vegas. But when this multi-millionaire dude, friend of mine, who's my boss too, says, listen, I want to take you to Vegas. You want to go? I'm like, yeah, everything's paid for. So it's a crazy story. In fact, this story kind of finds its way into my new book, The Snowman Chronicles. A similar story. A similar story was inspired by this trip to Vegas. So we go to Vegas. When we walk in right away, the first thing that happens that's remarkable is we're waiting to get in line at Bally's Hotel, you're waiting to get check in, right? And there's a whole bunch of people waiting to get in. And I look around, there's all these beautiful girls in there, right? It's like 25 dime pieces. Something's up. It shouldn't be that many beautiful girls in one room at one time. It just never is. So I knew something was up. So I pulled a girl aside. I said, hey, what's up? Is there some kind of event or something? A beauty pageant? She says, yeah, Hawaiian Tropics. We're the Hawaiian Tropics finalists. We're the 52 or 50 girls finalists. And I remember, what are you? And she's like, I think I'm Miss Colorado. And then another girl was Miss Hawaii. I remember that. And I was sitting there talking to her. And this dude, I'm not going to say his name because he's a douchebag. I don't talk to him anymore. But I liked him at the time, and he liked me. He was a big muscle bound guy, tough guy, power lifter. He thought he was tough. He wasn't. But anyways, I'm sitting there talking to the girl because he knew I had tried to play football, a few years earlier. And that my boys were telling girls and people like, yo, my boy plays for the Lions. It's all bullshit, getting in line to impress girls. And he knew that, and we laughed about it, right? And then so I'm in the middle of talking to these girls, and I'm not even hitting on them. I'm just like, oh, it's nice to meet you, wow, good luck with the pageant. And then he walks up, he goes, "What's up, Al? This is the part where you tell him you're a big shot football player for the Detroit Lions." And I look at him, I said, "Pay no attention to this douchebag. He's a hater." And they kind of giggle and whatever. So me and him were staying in the same room. He insisted because we were kind of boys. He's like, "We're going to stay in the same room." I'm like, "Okay." But his girlfriend met him there. So his girlfriend meets him there. And when I get upstairs and we're in the room, she's there. And my boy Corey calls me. This is Nextel's time. So they're chirp, 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 chirp. So we're chirping. And he goes, because he was down in the lobby. We all were, And he goes, What's up? So I told this story about Vegas one time years ago, right, on my YouTube channel. And my wife didn't like it because it involved a bunch of girls, and me whoring around in Las Vegas. First time I was in Vegas. And, I get it. I mean, your wife doesn't want to hear about that and doesn't want you putting it out there. So I'm going to tell the story again, a shortened version of it. But it does kind of illustrate that I wasn't a total whore, right? So actually, if I tell it the truth about it, I wasn't a total whore. Yes, I was macking on chicks, picking up girls, whatever, but I didn't sleep with any. So, we'll see. So years ago, this is right before I got locked up, about 2 years before I got locked up. I've told the story how I used to work at this home improvement company. It was a good sales job. I made a ton of money. I was making like 120 grand a year. And I became friends with the owner. Good dude. And so I ended up going to Vegas with him. He ends up taking us to Vegas. Like his upper sales team and his management takes us all to Vegas. And I had never been to Vegas, And I was taught all my life not to gamble. It's a sucker's bet. Tony Jack taught me how to play poker. And when he did that, he's like, be the house. You can be the house. Him and my uncle Nicky taught me together on my birthday with a bunch of my cousins. And they showed me how to play poker in the game, whatever. But he also we was cutting the pots. And he was saying, "See, look how much money I got. I didn't play a hand. Only suckers bet, don't bet." So all my life, I would run dice games in high school at parties and stuff, even clubs. I go right on a freaking pool table and be like, "Yo, let's roll 3 dice." And I would house these games and I make a bunch of money. Not a bunch, but on a good night I make $300. A bad night make $80 or 100. But whatever the case is, pay dice for 45 minutes and make $80. It's not bad. Some days I might make $300, $400, $500. But it was always kind of a little side hustle that I did, plus selling weed and everything else. But I never gambled head up. Didn't play poker. Didn't do nothing. So I was never like the kind of guy who go, "Let's go to Vegas." But when this multi-millionaire dude, friend of mine, who's my boss too, says, "Listen, I want to take you to Vegas. You want to go?" I'm like, "Yeah, everything's paid for." So it's a crazy story. In fact, this story kind of finds its way into my new book, The Snowman Chronicles. A similar story. A similar story was inspired by this trip to Vegas. So we go to Vegas. When we walk in right away, the first thing that happens that's remarkable is we're waiting to get in line at Bally's Hotel, you're waiting to get check in, right? And there's a whole bunch of people waiting to get in. And I look around, there's all these beautiful girls in there, right? It's like 25 dime pieces. Something's up. Like, it shouldn't be that many beautiful girls in one room at one time. It just never is. So I knew something was up. So I pull a girl aside. I said, "Hey, what's up? Is there some kind of event or something? A beauty pageant?" She says, "Yeah, Hawaiian Tropics. We're the Hawaiian Tropics finalists. We're the 52 or 50 girls finalists." And I remember, "What are you?" And she's like, "I think I'm Miss Colorado." And then another girl was Miss Hawaii. I remember that. And I was sitting there talking to her. And this dude, I'm not going to say his name because he's a douchebag. I don't talk to him anymore. But I liked him at the time, and he liked me. He was a big muscle bound guy, tough guy, power lifter. He thought he was tough. He wasn't. But anyways, I'm sitting there talking to the girl because he knew I had tried to play football, a few years earlier. And that my boys were telling girls and people like, "Yo, my boy plays for the Lions." It's all bullshit, getting in line to impress girls. And he knew that, and we laughed about it, right? And then so I'm in the middle of talking to these girls, and I'm not even hitting on them. I'm just like, "Oh, it's nice to meet you, wow, good luck with the pageant." And then he walks up, he goes, "What's up, Al? This is the part where you tell him you're a big shot football player for the Detroit Lions." And I look at him, I said, "Pay no attention to this douchebag. He's a hater." and they kind of giggle and whatever. So me and him were staying in the same room. He insisted because we were kind of boys. He's like, we're going to stay in the same room. I'm like, okay. But his girlfriend met him there. So his girlfriend meets him there. And when I get upstairs, when we're in the room, she's there. And my boy Corey calls me. This is Nextel's time. So they're chirp, 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 chirp. So we're chirping. And he goes, because he was down in the lobby. We all were, you know. And he goes, why is he hating on you? And I said, and I say it out loud right in front of the dude. I go, man, he's just an old hater, washed up, mad because he's going bald. And he was always talking about, he's like, I'll pick you up and shoot on you and slam you on the ground and beat your freaking ass. And I'm like, and I said, no, you won't. If you come at me and try to shoot on me, I'm going to knee you in the face and freaking beat your head in. So he comes charging at me, and I'm not expecting him to do nothing because we're supposed to be boys. He picks me up, smashes me on the ground, and starts wailing on me, right? Just wailing, bang, hard, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, what the frick? So I like rip out of, come out, bam, and just boom, hit him one good shot. And he falls back on the bed. He's looking at me. He goes, what was that for? What was that for? You trying to kill me, man? You trying to hurt me, you punk ass mother. And the girl's going, stop, stop, stop. And they was yelling. We started wrestling. We like broke the there's a mirrored door for the you know, not the hallway, but the where you put your clothes. I can't think of the name right now. But anyways, it's just like a smeared door. And we smashed, you know, banging all the noise. And closet. Sorry, I was looking for a closet. And so she called security and said, I need help up here. And the security ends up coming up, and it is what it is. Was that this? I think, I'm not sure. That might have been the second time we went there. No, yeah. Sorry, that was the second time we went there. But the first time he went there, this is where it's actually it's much funnier. So yeah, sorry, that was the second trip, man. Skip that one. That was next time we went back. Well, I stayed with him the first time too. And we didn't have no beef or nothing like that. After we go check in, I'm going down to the pool, and I see this hot chick walking by, right? I mean, she's cutie, right? You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm going to say. She's definitely cutie. She's got like Daisy Duke shorts on and a bikini top, and I stop her. I'm like, there's people all over, and we're going out to the pool. So people are coming one way, and I'm going the other way towards the pool. And I'm like, hey, excuse me. Or I said, stop. She's like, what? What's up? I'm like, oh, give me something. Give me a second. I'll think of something. She starts laughing. I didn't have nothing. I was like, I'll think of something. I said, you're way too hot to just walk on by me. I got to know, man. You hear the boyfriend. You got a boyfriend. She's like, no. Da-da-da. And I ended up like getting her number. And we end up hooking up. Not hooking up, hanging out, right? Oh my goodness, this is a crazy freaking night. So that's crazy, man. So the first night we went to this, I went with her. She came and met me, and we were going out to this a play called Tony and Tina's Wedding. So if you ever been in Vegas, there's a play called Tony. It's a live interactive play where you play a guest at a wedding. Everybody in the audience is guests at this wedding, this very dysfunctional Italian wedding, like diehard Italian. Hey, Tony, hey, come here, by John. Hey. It's all dramatic, and the ex-boyfriend shows up, like broke out of rehab, and shows up to try and tell her not to marry the dude, and the mother-in-law is super dramatic. She faints and passes out. There's like a couple of fights break out. The pastor, who's the overseeing the thing, he gets drunk. I look over, he's passed out with a cigarette in his mouth. It's funny, you know what I'm saying? And it was a funny thing. She wore this black dress. She was, you know, everybody there was like, because I said to Brian, I said, we're going to this play, right? He says, yeah. I'm like, you got any extra tickets? He's like, yeah, go see so-and-so, like his head manager. And I said, I went over to him, and she says, well, ask Brian what tickets you want to give him, or what tickets. So I go back, I said, bro, what tickets? Can I get some good ones? He goes over there, and he gives me two of the best tickets. It was his table was in the very front. My table was right next to him. This is a two-man table, a little round table. So me and this like hottie. And then like some of his upper management, and then the seats kind of went back. They were bigger regular tables. But at our table, we got free drinks and free food, like cocktails, like, you know what I'm saying, like a shrimp cocktail and crap like that. So this girl thought I was a big shot. I remember saying, going and introducing her to my boy, and he's like, "Who's this?" And I'm like, and he goes, "Who's this? My future wife?" I said, nah, a friend of mine, I just met her or whatever. And he's like, wow, I ended up marrying her. So I hang out with her that night, right? And I did not sleep with her. I really don't remember how that night ended. I think she ended up meeting up with her friends, and I went my way and she went her way. But I started gambling. That's what it was. Earlier in the day before we went out, I sat down there and tried to play blackjack. I don't know why. I had $14,000 on me. So like a dumbass, go to Vegas with $14,000, right? Actually, it was only 8 or 9,000. So I'm sorry. I ended up leaving with 14,000 so because I made some. At one point, I had 17,000 in my pocket, and I lost like 3 and said, why play anymore? I'm up $6,000, 8,000, whatever it was. I'm up. I walked away, and for the next freaking couple of days, I just freaking balled out. That's what I did. I actually rented a Viper, and took her jet skiing in Lake Meed. So this is all over a couple of days. But spending this free money that I got, I said, you want to go do something fun, man? Let's go freaking out to Lake Mead and go jet skiing, man. She's like, I'm down. It was like $300 a day for jet skis, and I went out there, even though they closed about hour and a half after we got there. Like, they got to be in by 5. I'm like, really? So I'm gonna pay the full price? It's like, it doesn't matter if you get it at 8 o'clock in the morning or 4 in the afternoon. It's the same 300. I'm like, really? Scamming them up the efforts. We're here now. But I remember renting this Viper, and freaking, I had this thing to the floor, and it had a governor on it, I'm assuming, because I couldn't get it past like 120. And it wasn't revving up really high. It was like cruising. Ooh, and I look over, and this chick is a target top, so it was like almost like a convertible, and her hair was like floating out of the thing. She was sleeping. I was just sleeping through 120 in the car, man. It's crazy. But I don't think that's the time that I've rented. One time we rented no, it's not the time. We rented 4-wheelers and dune buggies, and we got lost. They're like, whatever you do, stay on the marked trail. I'm like, yeah, sure, pal. First thing I did is see, I wonder where that goes. And they ended up lost. They had to send a search party out after us. The people we rented it from, because we didn't come back. Got sunburnt really bad. It was horrible. So anyways, I started gambling, and I'm losing. So I'm sitting at the table playing blackjack, and I'm playing like $25 hands, 25. Listen, I'm not joking, and people are going to think I'm a dork. Dude, I never played blackjack. Never played 21. I didn't know how to play it. I just knew that you're trying to get 21. That's all I knew. Like, the closer you get to 21, when you get 21, you win, or if you have a 20 and the dealer's got 19 or whatever, you win. So, or till the dealer busts. I don't know what the frick I'm doing. So I'm trying to win, but I'm losing, and I'm down a couple $1,000, And then my boy comes walking over, and he stands next to me, and he says, dude, why'd you hit on that? Dealer's showing bus card. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? I'm trying to get 21. He looks at the dealer like, and the dealer says, yeah, I was wondering what he's doing, but I can't say anything. Policy is I can't coach the players. He says, stop, listen, do what I tell you to do. And he starts explaining the bus cards and all that, so how to push and all that, double down, split, all this. So he starts coaching me because the deal says, technically I can't let you coach them, but if you play, you can kind of say, all right. So he sits down and plays, and dude, I win. At that time I win like $3,000. It's not a ton, but I won. I was like, dude, $3,000, this is easy, bro. I can win it this off freaking day. So then I came back the next day, and he won some more, and then lost one. Well, I ended up leaving. Actually, come to think of it, I came back $1 up from what I left with. So I think I had $8,000 when I went. I came back with $8,001. It's crazy. I spent everything. I bought that girl a purse and stuff. Bought some gifts from my girlfriend and had them aired back to my house. Bought a bunch of stuff. Like I said, rented a Viper, did all the stuff. So after that first night, I hang out with this girl, and I didn't sleep with her or nothing like that. But the next day, I go, yeah, this is a crazy night. I'm trying to remember how I was in her room, and she's finishing getting ready. But this isn't that must have been the first night. Because I met her at her room, and her friends were going out, and this was the first night, and I remember seeing she had a pill jar sitting on a thing, but it had no label on it. I looked at it and I picked it up. I go, "What's this? Ecstasy?" And she goes, "Why? You want one?" And I'm like, yeah, try one. I'd never done ecstasy, never done it in my life. So I was like, actually, I think I'd done it once. I did it once when I was salmon fishing, a couple years before that. Yeah, I did it once, which is fun, salmon fishing on ecstasy. So, and anyways, we hang out that night. She tried to get me to sleep with her that night. After I brought her back from the night out when we saw this Tony and Tina's wedding play and we went to some clubs and all that, she says, come up to my room and, why don't you come up to my room? I said, all right, well, I'm trying to be a gentleman. Her name was Jennifer. I remember that. She was a really cute girl from New York City. She was a school teacher in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. And I had lived in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. That was the irony. Where her school was, where she taught school, she was 23 years old. She taught school. It was literally like a block from where I lived in Bay Ridge. Because she said, I'm from Bay Ridge. I said, right away, I'm like, oh, you're New York. She said something. Yeah. I'm like, where at Brooklyn? She's like, yeah. I'm like, where at? She's like, Bay Ridge. I'm like, I lived in Bay Ridge. She's like, no way. I said, where? I tell her, she's like, that's where I teach school. At that little school in the corner. I said, no way. That's crazy, man. I walk by it every day. And so that's how we ended up clicking. And when I got to her room that night, I said, I'm trying to be a gentleman. I'm not trying to be a scumbag, and even though we're on ecstasy, and she says, you want to come in? I said, no, I don't want you to feel uncomfortable and nothing like that. All of a sudden she just grabs me and starts kissing me. And I just was like, whoa, like, chill out. Like, I'd never been around a girl on ecstasy before, you know what I'm saying? And she was basically trying to get me to go in her room. The main reason I said no was maybe morals. Yeah, morals. But I also was like, your friends could come home at any minute. You know what I'm saying? She had 2 friends with her. I'm like, I'm not being here in your bed with you or whatever. And no. So I said, no, I'll call you tomorrow. Let's hang out. I said, listen, I got this party we're going to tomorrow. And why don't you meet us? So I'll give you a call. So she was like bummed out that I didn't try to bone her. It's kind of, I tell you, I was a gentleman. So the next day I go back down, I start gambling some more, and I gambled 3-4 hours and I win again, $3,000-4,000. I remember I hit the one time when you hit the certain like spade, blackjack, whatever, your name gets entered into like a lottery and you can win up to like $1 million. And I hit that. But you have to be in the casino at the time where they like pull your name. If you're not there and don't hear them pull your name, you don't get it. And so I remember going to this party and thinking, they better not call my freaking name, because I had to be in that casino. It was like Bellagio's, I think. And I'm like, if I'm not in the Bellagio casino when they call number such and such, you don't win the $1 million. I'm mad as hell if I hit that million. But I knew I wasn't gonna, so I just went to this. So there was this, Brian had set it up so there was this party at a place called Rum Jungles. I don't know if you've ever been to Vegas. I don't know, Rum Jungles might still be there for all I know. I can't remember which casino it was in. It was a big, huge club. Crazy, had like bird cages hanging from the ceiling with like naked chicks in it, but they were covered in body paint. They were naked, but they had body paint on, like leopard and stuff like that. They were dancing around. And we had to go there early because we had this party set up where we were gonna get this like 9-course meal, right? The dude I was with, this millionaire baller I was with, he's paying for it. It's all tax write-off for him, so he don't care. So we're getting in this shuttle bus. It's like a limo shuttle, type of thing. It's going to take us to this other casino where this club is, Rum Jungles. And all his upper executives are in there, right? Probably 20 guys, right? And they're all the big shots, and they all know me. I work there with them. And I get on the bus, and he says, like, from the back of the bus, he's like, "What's up, man? Where's that girl from yesterday? She dumped you?" I'm like, no, I'm meeting her tonight. "Oh, yeah, so you're going to meet her tonight?" I'm like, "Yeah, she's meeting me at 8. She's like, "Yeah, well, sure, pal." I said, "Well, you think not?" He's like, "You ain't never seen that girl again." My future wife chick. I said, "Listen, Brian, since we're in Vegas, you know what I'm saying? And you want to make a bet? You want to bet?" And he said, "All right, what you want to bet?" I said, $5,000. $5,000 since he shows up. And he backs out of it like a punk, dude. He's just like, "No, I'll do 500. I'm like, "Okay, bet." I remember in the casino with him one time. I think it was the next night, come to think of it. Might have been that night where I ran out of chips and I got busted, and he was walking by and he had hit $40,000 on a slot machine. The millionaire dude, of course, hits the $40,000 slot machine, not the newlyweds or some kid or old lady. No, the millionaire. He was doing $100 slots trying to impress this girl and hits for 40 G's. And he was walking by, and he tells me, I was like, well, listen, I don't feel like running up to my room to get some more chips, man. Can I get a couple? And I was thinking a couple $100, you know? And he goes, how much? I'm like, 4. So he peels me $4,000. He goes, here, and just keeps walking. I'm like, thanks, buddy. I owed that dude so much money by the time I freaking went to prison. Who knows, probably $20,000. But anyways, he says to me, I'll bet you $500. I said, by 8, because I said, I'm meeting her at 8. So we're going there early at around 5 to have this dinner. So we walk in, this place is freaking jam-packed, booming ass freaking place. And it's not really booming yet. It's like the dinner rush at the time. So it's not booming yet. But it starts to become booming by 6, 7, 8 o'clock. It's starting to get packed. By 8 o'clock, it was sold out. There was a line out the door, like 200 people trying to get in. And, you know, around 7, they like started moving tables off to the dance floor to make room for, you know, club goers. But we had the best freaking, there's a big booth in the corner with this giant palm tree like hanging over it. And it's the main VIP booth. They had our section roped off. And there was about 10 of us. No, there's more than that. There's probably 20 of us all together. I mean, there wasn't 20. It probably was about 10 or 12 of us. It couldn't have been that many because the area wasn't that big. But when I went there, I'm like, where are we sitting? Where's us? And he says, that's us. I ran right over, got in the corner, put my arms up on the frickin', it's this wraparound booth with the palm tree. I got out there like, what up? And they got some great pictures. They had some pictures of us where we're just all of us chilling at this, you know, VIP thing. It was roped off with a red velvet, you know, ropes. So they start bringing in food and they wheeling in these carts with food. And it was the best meal I ever had. It was the best meal I ever had, flat out. Freaking, there was 9 courses of food. I can't remember them all. I do remember there was lamb cutlet things, the lamb riblet things. Those were the best. I ate like 5 of them. There was a seafood and lamb meat. I mean, it was 9 courses, and every one of them came with like sides of like really nice vegetables, and it's beautiful, right? These were $1,000 plate, by the way, $1,000. So for all of it, you know, together. Well, that's what our bill was, you know, 10 grand. So without tip, by the way. So anyways, I'm eating, but as I'm eating, first thing I do is I drink about a bottle of wine, which bad move. Stupid move. I don't drink. So I'm a pretty lightweight, you know, and I'm with my meal, I'm drinking wine. It just seems to be the right thing to do. But after the wine's gone, we each got 1 bottle of wine complimentary with their meal. So I'm like, tell the waitress, bring me a Long Island iced tea. Why Long Island iced tea, you ask? Because that's the only drink I knew. I didn't even know what the freaking Long Island iced tea was. I heard them. I know what they are. And they taste pretty good. I don't know how strong those mother effers are. So it brings me a Long Island iced tea. I drink one pretty quick. By the second one, the music's starting to pump. It's about 7 o'clock. I go out on the dance floor, start drinking. Like I drink another one. Now I'm on my 3rd one, right? I'm so buzzed up dancing that I end up dropping my drink on the dance floor, and all the guys are like, come on, Al, settle down, man. You're freaking losing it, bro. Sloppy drunk. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm good. It slipped out of my hand. One thing that was really cool about that club was they claimed to have the biggest bar either in the world or Vegas. I can't remember. But the wall had shelves that went up for like 50 feet, right? And they had this robotic arm things that would go up and grab a bottle and come down. Come down. So they said if you could come up with a drink that they couldn't serve, they would give you your drinks free all night. Drinks were on the house, but you had to be able to say you had to say something they didn't have. It had to be a real thing they could look up or whatever. And you know, of course, Long Island iced tea. But it was cool watching that thing, grabbing the bottles, and there's like probably 8 bartenders. Place is starting to pack up. By 7:30, it's jamming. I mean, it's packed. And I really wasn't paying that much attention because I'm getting drunk. Oh, I'm so full. I'm bloated. I ate that huge man. Then after the food, the dinner, they wheel out this dessert cart, this massive dessert cart with all these pastries and cakes and pies and cookies and I started eating them too. And so I'm kind of a sloppy drunk now, a little bit mess, and I'm like, you know, places jamming, clubs popping. I'm looking at these naked chicks dancing in the cages. Cool. You know, I never been in a club like that. And all of a sudden it's almost 8 o'clock, and I start like looking at my phone and see what time it is. I'm like, these freaking girls better show up. You know what I'm saying? Actually, I didn't bet him she's gonna show up by 8, but they told me they would call me at 8, and I said that she's gonna call me at 8. He's like, you never hear. So at like 8:01, I'm like looking at my phone, going, damn, I might lose $500. It sucks if they stiff me. I look like a jerk off. And so like 8:02, man, my phone rings, and I look at the New York 212, and I'm like, what's up? I'm like, where you at? She's like, we're out here, because I told her where I was going. I said, meet me here. That's what I had already told them, meet me at Rum Jungles. She's like, we're out there, but we can't get in. There's a huge line. I said, you serious? It's like, so I make my way to the front of the club, through all these people, and I look out there, and there's like this sea of people. There's like, I'm not joking. There was a kind of a hallway that led out to the main casino. That hallway was jam packed, man. 20-foot wide hallway with at least 200 people, and then it went out into the casino. This sea of people, and I'm like, I don't see you. I don't see you. I'm like, jump up, down, and wave your hands. And so all of a sudden, I see these two girls doing this, and I say, all right, make your way up to the door. I'm gonna get you in. And I say to the bouncer, because clubs in Vegas are notorious for being able to bribe your way in. You know what I'm saying? We had done it the night before. So I said to the bouncer, I'm like, yo, man, I got to get these two girls in, man. Because he wasn't letting anybody in. Until people leave, they couldn't let anybody else in. There was a fire hazard, right? So they can only hold so much. They're at capacity. It's 8 o'clock. They're already at capacity. So I say to this bouncer, dude, I'm like, man, can you get these girls in? I got to get them in. He's like, can't do it, bro. I'm like, how much? He's like, can't do it. I'm like, man, I'm like $50. He's like, I said $50 a piece, bro. Come on, bro. He's like, I can't do it, man. My manager's right there. And this is the scene that finds its way into my book. He said, my manager's right there, bro. He's watching me. I can't do it, bro. And I look over and said, that's your manager? And it was this guy, looked like he was Italian, handsome Italian guy with his hair slicked into like a pompadour, like a ponytail, suit on, good looking dude. I said, yeah, it's right there. So I walk over to dude and say, hey, man, listen, I got a favor. He's like, what's that? I said, I got to get these freaking girls in, man. I bet my boy, $500 that these chicks that would show up. He says they wouldn't. He ain't going to believe me, if I can't get them in. And he's like, well, where are they? At this point, they had made their way almost up to the front now. They're like by the velvet rope, and this is a crowd of people waiting to get in. I said, right there. These two right here. He goes, how much was the bet? I think I lied. I think I told him $5,000. That's what I told him. I think, because it was originally $5,000. I think, $5,000. He goes, $5,000, huh? They show up. I said, yeah. I said, come on, man. I said, I'm in the VIP back. We just dropped like $10,000 on dinner, man. That's what I said to him. I said, come on, bro. We just dropped $10,000 on dinner. We're back there balling. He's like, oh, you're at that party? I said, yeah. He's like, all right, man, come here. He walks over to the bouncer, tells the bouncer, let these two in. And he opens it up, and they let in. And so I go in there. The girls come inside, and it's packed and loud, and boom, boom, boom. And I say to the girl with her, it's her friend, and I say, listen, I know I stole your friend from you last night. Actually, it was 2 girls. There were 2 girls with them. There's 3 of them total. I said, I know I stole your friend from you last night, but I only got another night here with her. You guys can go home and see her all the time. I'd like to hang out with her a little bit, but I don't want to feel like a douchebag. I'm stealing your friend. So here, and I pull out a knot, and I give them $200 each. $200 bills each. Like, here you go gamble. And they acted like it was a lot of money. Like, oh my God, you serious? I'm like, yeah, go have fun, gamble, win some money, man. It's like, well, if we win, I'll give you the money back. I'm like, I don't care. Just go have fun, enjoy yourself, And they thought they were super grateful for that. So then I tell the girl, come on, follow me. And she is a beautiful girl. And I'm walking her through the crowd, and I'm looking for my boy, right? And all of a sudden, I see him at the bar, which is a funny scene. He's at the bar. He's got a suit on. He's a handsome Jewish dude, real good-looking guy, baller worth millions. And he's at the bar, and he's got like a $20 bill in his hand, and he's trying to get a drink. And the bouncers are going back and forth, and they're ignoring him because other people are walking up and like slamming the money down, saying, keep the change, let me get that. Keep the change, let me get a beer. And he's just like, so I come through, right? And I take a 20 out of my own pocket. And I asked the girl, what do you want? She's like, I'll take a beer or whatever it was, right? And I squeeze between my boy and the guy next to him and get into the bar. And as the bartender walks by, one of them, I slam the 20 on the bar, go, bang, let me get a beer, bro. Keep the change. And the guy stops instantly. Says, got you, boom. And I looked at my boy. I said, that's how it's done, bro. You over here, you got all that freaking money. You over here freaking, that's how it's done. And I said, oh, by the way, you remember my friend Jennifer from last night? And he looks at me and I said, yeah, can I get that 500? And she was like, what's that about? And I told her, you bet me $500 you weren't going to show up. She starts laughing. He goes, good to see you again. Beautiful as ever. You're still going to be my wife? She's like, yeah, maybe. Anyways, I said, let me get that money. So he pulls 500 out, laughs, get out of here. I take the 500. So she says, let's go to this one club because it's really crowded and packed in there. It's like, I want to go to this other club. I said, all right. That's what it was the night before, by the way. The night before, I was super sore from working out. And she wanted to keep club hopping and going around because she's on ecstasy. And I was too. But I was sore. My feet were hurting, man. Yeah, I got brand new shoes on here in Vegas trying to dress up. God, I had some crazy Vegas stories, man. I just thought of a whole nother crazy Vegas story. But anyways, so that's why I said, I'm going to go, you can go back, hang out with your friends or whatever. And she's like, she wanted to bone me. I was like, I'm good. So this night, she said, let's go to this club. She was like a raver, like a techno dancer. She wanted to dance on ecstasy. I'm like, that ain't my thing. You know what I'm saying? This club we were in was like, I liked it, Rum Jungles, because it was playing it was old school rap night. So they were playing like LL Cool J, the crap that I was into. And I was like, yeah, I like it here. But she wanted to go to this other club. So I said, all right. So we go to this other club, and it wasn't really packed. It was people in it. It wasn't too packed. There wasn't much of a line. It was like 10 people in line. We got in there. But of course, they shook us down because you got in there and they were like, yeah, we're at capacity. And I said, how much? And he's like, $50. I'm like, all right. So I paid $50 for each of us, so $100. We go in there and we were in there for like 10 minutes and she doesn't like it. She's like, oh, the music's not that good. I don't like it. Let's go to this other club. I'm like, man, she's one of these freaking high maintenance assholes, man. So whatever. So we leave and we're on foot, so we're walking again. Like I said, I remember I was sore from working out. My feet were sore, new shoes, and I gotta remember to tell that other story too, because I was wearing a Michigan State jersey set and hat, and crazy thing happened to me, man. One of the craziest things. But this random chick who was like a married chick ditched her husband and tried to bone me. It was wild. I thought it was a robbery. I thought they were setting me up for robbery. Honestly, it just seemed too easy. But I had a lot of jewelry on, so I thought maybe that's what it is. Anyway, so we go to this other club, right? Another big club like Rum Jungles, and it's packed as a mother effer, right? And we go in there, and I'm dancing a little bit, but it's hot. I don't want to get too sweaty. My phone storage overflowed. So, anyways, I'm in this club dancing and kind of working up a sweat, but not really wanting to work up a sweat, whatever. And she says to me, she's on ecstasy. I wasn't this night. And she says, it's a funny night, man. It's just only my luck, man. Only my luck. She says, I got to use the bathroom. Can you walk me to the bathroom? She's a little chick. She's only like a 5-footer. So she's like 5 foot, 95-pound girl. Little tiny thing. I'm like a 230-pound muscle head. She's like, will you walk me to the bathroom? I'm like, yeah, I guess, So I go walking her towards the bathroom. And then in the back of the club, there's like a hallway that goes down the hallway. And it's packed with people. I don't understand why girls' bathrooms always get so more packed. Like dudes can just walk up, pee, and go. With chicks, there's like a whole thing where I don't know if they're in there doing their makeup or what they're, I don't know. But there's like 50, 70 chicks waiting in line to go in the bathroom. And there's like maybe 20 guys waiting to get in. But people are coming and going, whatever. So I wait with her to get in the bathroom because she's I'm not gonna just leave her by herself in line. So we're talking and flirting and just being whatever. And then finally she goes in the bathroom, right? And as she goes in the bathroom, I kind of step off to the side, and there's this crowd of people standing there, and a couple of dudes, big dudes, they're like big Jersey Shore looking muscle bound dudes, and there was a couple girls with them, like a crowd of like 5 or 6 of them, all talking. It's super loud, so you can't hear nothing. And one of the girls had a lollipop, sucker. And I said, I walked over and said, hey, you got another one of those suckers? And she's like, what? And I'm like, suckers. This jerk off douchebag, I guess, one of these guys, it was his girlfriend maybe. When I said, hey, you got another one of those suckers, he must have thought I was saying something pervy to his girl. Only me. And this big motherfucker too is like 6'4". And he goes, what's up, motherfucker? He started barking in my face. Now, you know me, you know who I am. He don't know me. So I don't, I'm not hesitating. I'm not waiting. I'm scared. I'm like, he's a big old freaking dude. This guy might swing on me and break my jaw or freaking smash my face in. So my instinct instantly when he's, what's up, motherfucker? Just right in my face and he's looking down at me. I just was like, bam! Just knock him out. One shot right to the jaw. wham! He goes bouncing off the wall, falls down. The girl screams. Oh! Immediately, this fat black bouncer who was standing at the end of the hallway, he must have saw the whole thing. He was almost instantly upon me. Fat dude, like Fat Albert fat. Like, he's just got security shirt on, big fat dude. He grabs me in a bear hug and like grabs me, he's a big dude, and picks me up off the ground and walks me like this out to the exit or the entrance of the club, sets me down and tells the bouncers he's out. He just knocked some dude out. He's got to go. And he turns around and walks away. Well done, bro. I mean, professional wise, you did a great job. But now I'm screwed because the chick's in the bathroom and she doesn't know where I went. This huge club, probably literally like 3,000 people in it, maybe more. I don't know. So she went in the bathroom and I just got kicked out. So the line to get into that club was only like 20, 30 people long, kind of waiting to get in. But it goes out into the main casino because the club is part of a main casino. So I figured, I guess I'll sit by the bar. There's a bar right there. There's a bar right by the line, so people who are in line waiting to go in the club can order drinks. And they even got a waitress going back and forth, like, would you like a drink? And the guy, so it's because they're always thinking money in Vegas. Like, you got all these hundreds of people waiting to get in line. They're thirsty. They can get drinks. So I walk over to the bar, and I order a Long Island. That's all I know is Long Island. It's a Long Island iced tea. And I'm sipping it. Keep in mind, I'm pretty drunk. I'm pretty plastered, to be honest with you. I'm drunk. I'm like flat out. I drank a bottle of wine and 3 Long Island iced teas. I'm drunk. I'm very sloppy. And, that's probably why I reacted the way I did with that dude, because I was drunk. And I'm like, man, I'm freaking drunk, man. This guy could whip my ass easy right now. So I better just freaking let him have it. And I just wham! I jacked him. And so I sit there at the bar. And I'm like talking to the bartender a little bit. She's not too busy because it's out in the casino, so it's not really busy. And all of a sudden, like this chick walks up and sits in the chair next to me, a stool, excuse me. Black girl. She's wearing all burgundy. It's like a burgundy tight body outfit, like a yoga outfit, burgundy tight. And I look at her and wow, good looking girl, really good looking. I kind of look at her and I'm like, hey, how you doing? She's like, what's up? What's wrong with you, man? You look like you lost your best friend. I was like, I just got kicked out. The girl I'm with on a date with, she's in there, don't know I got kicked out. So I'm just kind of waiting. Eventually, I'm hoping she'll wander her way out here and find me. But, she's like, what happened? And I tell her what happened. She's laughing, ha ha. And I started talking to her. She seems like a nice enough girl. She seems educated, not hood rat at all. Not racist thing, but she was from the hood. So you could tell people have a certain slang, just like people in the South have a certain slang. You could tell if somebody's from the Midwest or from the South. It doesn't matter. They could be, senators. They still sound like they're from the South. So I'm talking to her, and then at one point I said to her, I'm just sipping this drink, wallowing in my bullshit, half drunk, and I say, "What are you doing in Vegas?" And she's like, "I'm working." I go, "Oh yeah." I said, "What do you do?" She says, "I'm a hooker." I turn around. I literally turn and look. I'm like, yeah. She's like, yeah. I said, and I kind of scope her out. I said, I've never paid for a girl before, but if I was going to, you'd be right at the top of the list. She says, thank you. And she looks at me. She goes, honestly, guy like you, I would charge half price because I would enjoy it. Of course, that was her sales pitch probably too. She's like, I normally charge $600 for the night, but you, $300, I'm all yours. And I like, yeah. I'm looking at it. It's not my thing, but thanks, appreciate it. We talked for a minute, and after about 10 minutes, she just says, all right, well, it's nice meeting you. I got to get back to work. I said, what do you do? She's like, just wait over there. Sooner or later, somebody will come along. She's in the casino. I'm like, well, good luck. She turns around and starts to walk, and I'm looking at her booty. It's going doink, 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 walking away. And this is the pervert in me, and I'm looking at her, and she gets about 20 feet away, and I'm like, hold on a sec. I say run after her, man. I said, come on, man, $300, let's do this. I ain't never done it, but whatever, when in Vegas. She says, all right, cool. So we go into get a cab to go back to my hotel, right? And we were in the cab on the way back to Bally's, and I was so drunk that at one point, the driver, who was this like Pakistani dude, I remember because I left my phone in his car and he brought it back to me the next day. The Pakistani dude was like, "You all right back there, man? You all right back there?" He must have been in the mirror looking at me like, "You all right back there?" I'm like, "Huh?" And this is what I said, exactly what I said. I'm like, "Yeah, bro, but you might want to roll the window down though," because I was thinking I was gonna puke. He must not heard me. I thought he did though. And I was like half passed out. I'm like, "Might want to roll the window down though, bro." And the girl, she's watching. She's like, "This mother effer's drunk, man." And all of a sudden, that freaking $900 meal comes up, dude. The whole 9 courses. And then I'm just like, and I go to puke out the window, thinking I'm puking out the window because he rolled the window down because I asked him to do. And I'm like, and the window's up. And it just splashes on the window and goes all over the place. And it comes out. A huge freaking nasty, like power puke. And the dude's like, "Oh, man, you got to clean that up, bro. You got to clean that up." He leans back, "Man, you got to clean it up, bro, man. You got to clean it up." And I'm like, "Nah, bro, I ain't cleaning that up. I ain't cleaning it up." And I took a $100 bill off my knot and just said, "Here, bro, I'm sorry." And I threw him a $100 bill. And that floated under the seat. And he kind of looked at it and he's like, $100, I'll go hose it out. You know what I'm saying? Not that big of a deal. $100. That's probably what he would make in his whole night. So I just doubled his income. So he was cool. When I got back to my hotel, I left and left my phone in his car. So the next day I would call him and go, and he'd answer. And he's like, "Hey, what's up, bro? I've been waiting for you to call." I'm like, "Man, I left my phone in my car." And when I went, and he said, "I'll meet you in front of Bally's in 10 minutes. So he comes down and he pulls up and he goes, "Here's your phone, man." I said, "Bro, here's $50 just for being honest." He goes, No, I don't want your money, man. No. I said, "No, dude, thank you for being all my contacts. Everything was in there. My phone, I needed that phone, man. Just like we all do, even back then." And he's like, No, good. So he says, "No, keep the money." So I said, "Okay, man." I take the money. He insisted not taking the money. So just as he goes to pull away, I throw the money in the window, throw it in there and run. I'll tell you, he lands on his lap probably. And I'm out of here. So he gave him the money. But anyways, I take this girl back to my hotel, right? Drunk as hell, just puked. It was funny because when I was puking, she jumped up on the seat. It got away from me. Like she was like, "What the frick?" I'm power puking. I just remember seeing her over there. I'm like, "I'll be all right." And so I get back to my room and with this girl, and she starts saying like, "What do you like?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I mean, what do you offer?" I'm a pretty traditional dude. She's like, "Whatever you like, I'm yours for the night." She starts undressing, right? And right away, I think this is gross. This is disgusting. What am I doing? What the frick? I have a girlfriend, a good girlfriend, that I cared about a lot. I don't know if I loved her in that regard, but I cared. And I'm like, why am I about to sleep with this whore in Vegas? I have a good girlfriend back home. I can get laid anytime I want. I got like 5 different girls I can call. I was going to probably bone this super hot New York chick tonight. And I got a hooker and I'm paying her $300. So I say, she starts getting undressed. And I said, "Stop." She's like, "What?" I said, "Put your clothes back on." She says, "I can't do it." She's like, "What?" "Well, don't worry. I'm yours all night. Anything you want. If you want to talk, whatever." I said, I ain't doing this. I lied and said I'm married is what I said. I said, "Listen, I'm married. I feel guilty. I don't want to do it." She's like, "Oh, it's okay. I'm a lot of married guys need to do this to try to help their relationship." And blah, blah. I said, "Stop. I'm not doing it. I've never paid for pussy in my life. I'm not paying for no pussy. No offense to you. You're a hot chick and wish you nothing but the best. But I'm not paying. So put your clothes on. Get back to work. I'm sorry." And she starts standing there and she's like, "Well, you're going to pay me." I said, "I'm not paying you." She's like, "No, I'm not leaving until you pay me." And then L came out because I was drunk and I pulled the Detroit card. I said, it got real serious. Yeah, my eyes say a lot. People have told me over the years, like when your eyes get, when you get serious, like you're ready to get mad, your eyes, and I said, "Listen, bitch." I said, "I'm from Detroit. I'm not playing no mother effing games with you. I'm going to tell you one more time. Get your effing clothes on. Get the fuck out of my room before I throw you out. I will throw you out." And she was like, "Okay." She started getting dressed. Got real dressed. She casually got dressed. And right when she was walking out, I felt really guilty because I had taken up some of her time. She was about to leave. And I said, "Hey, hold on a second. Here's $100. Easiest $100 you ever made. You didn't have to do nothing. God bless you. Go." She took the $100 and left. So I go back down. Now it's not that late, it's only like it's It's only like, I don't know, probably not even midnight now. And so I go down in the casino. It's funny as hell. I just puked and I'm feeling pretty sick. So I go down to the casino and I see my boy Corey and another dude named, what the frick was his name? I liked him too. Corey and I can't remember his name. He was a funny dude. They got some girls, 2 girls, and they see me come to the casino and they like, hey, what's up, man? What are you doing? What happened to that girl? I'm like, oh, I got in a fight and got kicked out of the club and blah, blah, blah. And I'm telling them and they're laughing. I'm drunk. And then they're like, want to smoke a joint? And I'm like, yeah. And that's just driving me crazy. I can't remember this guy's name. Penny. Something Penny. It's Dollar. Todd Dollar. Yeah. Penny, Dollar. I made the guy. Todd Dollar was his name. Good dude. I liked him. So they're like, come over here. Let's smoke a joint. So we went and there's an alley between Flamingo Hotel and Bally's Hotel. And like an access alley for where they bring the food and the beverages and everything. And we just went on the side door and went back there and smoked this joint. Really good weed too. Corey has some like hydro. So we smoked this joint and I am high as a mother. It instantly like made me feel a million times better. I instantly was like, I was joking and laughing and singing and acting silly. The girls were cracking up. This freaking guy is crazy as hell. I was in the club dancing. Like they were playing slots and me and these guys were joking around. And I end up going over to a table and start gambling, right? And I'm gambling and I'm gambling and I'm losing and I'm losing and I'm losing because I got nothing else to do. Like, you know, everybody's out clubbing and partying and whatever. I lost my date and I'm just sitting there. Those guys are like playing slot machines. I don't play slot machines. So I go play blackjack, right? And I remember, I don't know how much money I had on me, but I remember I lost all of my money. And then I got to the point, and then all of a sudden Corey and them, Todd and the girls come over, and that was like my last hand. I'm like, I got to get back here. It's over. You know, I had money in the room though. I had money upstairs, and I lose. It was a $50 bet. I said, damn it. And I'm like, and I looked at the girls. I'm like, you got any chips? And they're like, she's like, I mean, maybe. Why? I'm like, let me get it. I said, I'll give you back. I got it in my room. I don't want to run up right now. I want to get my money back. I'll give it to you when I'll run up to the room when we're done. And she kind of looks at dumb dudes, you know, and they're like, he's good for it. Trust me, he's got it. You know, I probably had $5,000 up there, 10 grand, whatever it was. Yeah, it was a lot. That's the time I ended up going home with $1 more than I lost, or $1 more than I went there with. So she gives me $50. The girl gives me $50 in chips, two $25, and bang! I start nailing them. Boom, boom, blackjack. I start clocking, and I win all my money back, whatever it was, like $3,000. And they're like watching and cheering. They're like, holy crap, dude. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning now. And they're just like watching me like, dude, this guy's on a freaking roll. I'm like, hell yeah, bang, 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 bang. And all of a sudden, I'm in the middle of this winning streak, right? I'm all happy and I'm high as hell. I'm like, yeah, win it, yeah. And here comes the girl, the Jennifer chick from New York. She comes storming over to me, and goes, you're such an asshole. I can't believe what an asshole you are. You're a freaking, I thought you were different. I thought you were someone special. Wham! She slaps me, just cracks me. She goes, you effing asshole, just stiff me and leave. Slap, bang, cracks me, right? And then she turns around and storms off. Now, Todd and Corey are like, damn, man. And the girls are like, you're not going to go after her? Because they know the story. They know what happened, that I got in a fight or I knocked some dude out and got kicked out. And so they're expecting me to go, hold on, you don't know the story. I got, punch some dude in the face. They kicked me out. She storms off, right? This beautiful girl who's been wanting to bone me. I ended up hanging out with her next day. The next day is the day we went to Lake Meed. Anyway, she storms off because she calls me the next day. I'm sorry for hitting you. I said, listen, here's the story. And she's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah, I didn't stiff you, I didn't leave. But at the time, I wasn't about to freaking leave, and I'm on a roll. I'm like $3,000 up. I'm like, man, whatever. F her. This is a chick, bro. I'm going to get this money, playing. And so I just kept rolling. And I don't remember what time I went to bed or anything like that. I went to bed happy. And I was up. And then the next day, she calls me pretty early in the morning, like 9 o'clock. She says, I'm sorry. Yeah, I got a fight, man. They kicked me out. I waited for a while. And I was like, I can't wait forever, man. You figure it out and find me somehow. And then that's when I said, you want to go to Lake Mead? And she's like, oh, well, we don't have a car. I'm like, hey, I can rent a car. This cars are cheap, man. You know, rent a Viper for $300. And I did. And I took her shopping and I bought her this little statue, like a little statue thing. It was, you know, like $70. I was like, whatever, buy her something. Because I had won money. And trying to think though, I just tell you another quick story to end of the Vegas story. And it wasn't that trip. I think it was the following time, the next time I went. But sometimes when I would go out, I would like to go out by myself. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of my boys were lames, dude. Like they didn't have any game. They want to sit around and get drunk and drink. Maybe buy a girl a drink, but then they sit there. I'm like, they're not fun to be hang out with. Plus, when you're alone or by yourself, you can just bullshit, you know, and say you're anything and say anything. You know what I'm saying? You could be anything. Hey, whatever you want, just have fun. In your mind, you're cracking up. You're like making yourself laugh. But if your boys there, they might hate on you. So this guy's talking about jerk off, man. This guy sells shoes for a living or something. You know what I'm saying? So I remember this night when I went out, and it could have been the same trip. This one, I ended up, for the record, I did not sleep with that girl, either one of them, any girl on that trip, or this chick I'm about to tell you about. I remember walking down the Vegas Strip, and there was music pumping out of a club that was on the Strip, which is rare. Most of the clubs are in the casinos, but this is one that was like on the Strip, and it was a new club, and there's two bouncers sitting there, and they're like, "Come on in, bro," and I'm walking by. And I kind of looked because they were bumping like some cool, like old school rap that I liked. Like, I think they were bumping LL Cool J, right? Like Going Back to Cali, I think was the song. Here's what I'm wearing. I got a new Michigan State, which is green and white jersey set, right? Football jersey, matching shorts, matching hat, big ass Byzantine chain, big one. Probably about as big around as my pinky finger. This big chain with a cross. Like a nice watch, probably $3,000 watch, a ring, couple of rings on, a bracelet. I was probably wearing like 10 grand worth of jewelry. And I was pimped out. This is how I would like casually go out. You know what I'm saying? There were places where I'd go out and I dress up and I wear a shirt and tie or a suit or more of a casual dress outfit, whatever. But I'm like, it's super hot. Oh, by the way, here's why I wore that. That's why it was. Michigan State was playing UNLV, University of Las Vegas, that very next day. So I'm like, I knew this was going to be happening while I went down there. I'm like, dude, State is going to be playing UNLV. So I went to the mall and I bought a State jersey set, football and hooked up the whole set. Fly as hell. This badass football jersey, green and white, matching shorts, hat, everything. Boom, jewelry. Got I remember I put my jewelry on, man. Like my boy said, man, what's up, Al, man? That's your pimp starter kit. Because I had a lot of jewelry, I just never wore it. And I remember when I get to the airport and we're going, I had all this jewelry. I'm like, where'd you get that pimp starter kit? I'm like, I got jewelry, bro. I just don't wear it. It looks too cheeseball. But for the right outfit, it looked great for the right outfit at the time. So I said, I'm gonna rock it. So I'm walking down this strip, and the two bouncers like, yo, man, come on in. I'm like, how much? He was like, $20 cover. I'm like, I'm not paying $20. The place wasn't even very busy. There was only like 50 people in there, maybe 100 people. It wasn't that busy. It was still early, you know, it was like 8 o'clock at night. And I look and I'm like, nah, I'm good, bro. I ain't paying $20 to go in there. The guy says, I start walking away and the guy says, come on, man, I'll let you in. Come on in. No charge. Yeah, no charge. All right, I'll go in there. And I sit there by the dance floor and I'm kind of like, I don't like to get sweaty and gross because you never know where you're going to end up at the end of the night. And I don't like to be like dirty. So I just kind of sit by the dance floor. I ordered a beer. Like a Bud Light. Nah, it wasn't Bud Light. Definitely wasn't Bud Light. Definitely was like a Coors Light. Just saying. And I'm drinking this beer and I'm kind of just peeping the scene, bumping, the music's bumping. I'm that guy. I'm just like, yeah, watching the girls, looking around. And then all of a sudden, I look in front of me and there was this very attractive girl. Like, I hate saying hot because that's disrespectful to my wife. But, there's a hot chick in front of me and she's dancing with this dude, right? And, very attractive, but also kind of wholesome looking, like middle American wholesome girl, probably 24 years, 25 years old. The guy was a little bit on the dorky looking side, but not really. He just, he wasn't like a G. You could tell he wasn't no freaking G. But he could have been a killer for all I knew, and that's what I was thinking, and you'll see why. Because she's dancing with him, and then she's like backing away, and she starts coming up to me. She's like dancing up on me, boom. And I'm just like, I back up a little bit because I'm like, yo, I mean, is that your husband or your boyfriend? Are you with this dude? Like, I don't know. So I'm dancing with her a little bit, and I say, I'm like, what's up? What's up with you and boy? It's like, is that your man? She's like, yeah, it's my husband. I'm like, all right, well, cool. What are you doing in Vegas? She's like, I'm a teacher. We're here on vacation. I'm a school teacher, she says. Oh, cool. You know, have a good time. And I backed away. I'm not going to sit there and dance up on some dude's wife while he's standing right there. So I back up and away. She keeps coming at me, keeps like coming up on me, right? I keep backing away. At one point, I get uncomfortable, so I leave. I go get another beer. I walk to the bar, and I come back. And she's there, and the dude's gone. He had gone, like, was head up to the bathroom in the bar or something like that. She's dancing all on me. She's like, what's up with you? You know what I'm saying? Blah, 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 blah. And I said, yo, you kind of, you know, in my space, girl. I'm like, your husband ain't going to have an issue with that? She's like, he don't care. He don't care. He, you know, he's cool with it or whatever. I'm like, you know, in my mind, I was thinking, I'm not really cool with it, but whatever. I'm like, can't whip my ass. I mean, I could tell looking at the guy, he's never going to be able to whip my ass. So I'm just enjoying my beer. It's like beer 2, right? Probably thinking I'm going to leave this club in a minute, go hit another club or see what I can get into, because there's always something I can get into. And then all of a sudden, like, the dude comes back. They talk for a minute. He looks like he's a little upset. He's talking to her like, eh. And then I see him turn around and leave, and he walks out the back door, like kind of storms out the back door. And she comes back over to me, starts dancing. And she's like, I said, what? I said, where'd your husband go? She's like, he left. He's going to go catch up with his family. I guess it's like, I think she said like his sister and brother were there, and he was going to go meet up with them. So he's leaving his freaking hot wife in a club drunk to dance on some dude that she's been grinding and staring at for the last 25 minutes. And she's like, so I'm like, well, that's cool to me. I was like, oh, this is actually works, you know what I'm saying? She had a black skirt on, black leather skirt, and a white top. Very, you know, attractive girl. And then she says, you want to leave and go back to my room? Only me. You know, this crap only happens to me. Like, I was in Los Angeles a couple months ago, and some random chick in an elevator, some hot young girl, probably 24 years old, tried to get me to go to her room and sleep with her right on the spot, because she had caught her boyfriend cheating on her in that hotel just now, and she was so bent, and she was drunk, and she was bent on revenge, that when she saw me get in the elevator, she said, come on, I want to take you back to my room. My boyfriend just cheated on me. I don't give a crap. I just want to F you. That's what she said, literally, the F word. I want to F you. I'm like, I showed her my wedding ring. I'm like, I'm married, you know, I'm sorry. You know, if I was younger and single, sure. And she's like, what? She's like, you're rejecting me? You're saying no? I'm like, yeah, she's probably never been rejected in her life. I'm like, yeah, sorry. And then he's like, this is some old freaking bald dude. I'm offering to give it to him. And he's like, no. I'm like, hey, some of us guys got class and standards and morals. I'm one of them. So keep moving. I'm sure there's plenty of guys around that'll freaking give it to you. But with this other chick, she says to me, this is the gangster in me thinking, the mindset of my mindset, has how I thought and saw the world. When she told me, you want to go back to my room, you know, bone, basically, she says, you want to go back to my room and hang out? I immediately thought it was a scam, like a setup. I immediately thought, dude went back to the room. He's waiting in there with a gun. I'm going to walk in with 10,000 in jewelry and a few grand in cash. They're going to pull a gun. They're going to rob me. The room's in some fake ID name. They just leave and they just hit a score. This is what they do. They probably go to clubs. They wait for a mark. They wait for a dude who you can see has a bunch of money on him or a bunch of jewelry on him. And she, you know, throws herself at him. Let's go back to my room. They walk in. They rob him. They zip tie him. This is all what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh, this is a freaking play, bro. I'm from Detroit. Like, you can't play me like that, girl. I'm way slicker than you. I'm ahead of you 10 steps. Then I go, all right, how will you go back to my room? Because now I'm like, you know, your man ain't waiting there. Let's go back to my room. She goes, okay, let's do it. Let's go back to your room. I'm like, you serious? She's like, yeah, where's your hotel? We can get a cab right now. I didn't do it. I didn't do it because, again, I didn't do that. I wasn't that guy. A lot of guys, every guy would do it, basically. Every guy would do it. I wasn't so faithfully committed to my girl. I cheated on her all the time. Not all the time, but, you know, pretty consistently. I mean, I always had a side girlfriend or 2 or 3, you know what I'm saying, that I kind of rotated. But at least with those girls, I had a bit of a commitment from them. Like, I kind of dated them, you know, I like went out with them 2 or 3 times before I slept with them, you know what I'm saying, got to know them. And if a girl, like, if I hung out with a girl one time, I didn't like her, like she was annoying as hell and like just a ditz or an airhead or a bitch or whatever, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't sleep with her. I'd just be like, yeah, it was nice talking to you. I'll give you a call, and never call her again. They'd call me and call me and call me. I would not answer, or I'd say I'm busy, or I'd say, let me call you back, and I'd never call them back. And after a couple of times to get the picture, like, I don't want them. But so I had some kind of standards when it came to women. But just hooking up randomly with random chicks in Vegas or nightclubs for a one night stand after I met you 10 minutes ago was not my thing. I couldn't do it. It wasn't my thing. I mean, to each his own. I had done it, you know what I'm saying, a few times over the years. But, you know, by this point in my life, I was probably 27, 28 years old. So I was a little bit older. And, yeah, this is only like a year before I got locked up, maybe a year and a half before I got locked up. And by the way, I think at the time I was a full-blown heroin addict at the time, too. I was a drug addict. Nobody would have known. I still worked out. I was all buff and freaking, you know, wearing $10,000 worth of jewelry and dressed really in a freaking $500 set, whatever. But nobody would have known. But I had some standards to myself, and just wouldn't I felt like that's selling my soul. I just kept picturing my girlfriend, man, like how disgusted she'd be if she knew I just met some random chick in a club and took her back to my room and railed her. Just wasn't my thing. So Vegas is a trip, and I ended up going back several times over the next year and a half because I was gambling and I was losing. I won a lot in Vegas, so I'd come back to Detroit and I'd try to gamble in the casinos in Detroit, and I'd always lose, which told me that they had the automatic card shufflers in the casinos in Detroit. They had an automatic, and then in Vegas they hand shuffle, free shuffle, hand shuffle, and that made a difference. I'm sure that those computers and programs are able to shuffle those based on how many people are at the table. You know, eye in the sky, the computer looks at it, there's 4 people at the table, we shuffle it like this. It gives the casino a better chance. Because, like, in Vegas, they had a single deck table, but they'd only let, like, 3 people play at one time. But if you had a single deck table, but if you were, like, a bit of a card counter, and you were playing at a single deck table with, like, 3 people, you kind of counting, you could give yourself, that's where I won. That's where I ended up winning most of my money. And my boy taught me that. He's the one who taught me how to do this. Anyways, so that's it. Another story in the book, Vegas. It's a funny story. And I was able to leave out all the hoes, you know, and I ran into some girls and hung out with some girls, but there was no foul play, no dirty play. I was a good boy, and it is what it is. Cleaned it up. How about that? So my wife can't get mad at me. I'm sure she doesn't like hearing stories like this. Anyways, but at the end of the day, she has to agree that my behavior was noble and honorable, and I wasn't the average scumbag who would have dipped his wick in these chicks just like that, whatever. I wasn't that guy. And I'm not judging anyone, guys who do that. You know, more power to you. All my boys were like that. All my close friends were way worse than me, man. But it just wasn't me, man. The main issue, I mean, I don't know. I just didn't like it. It felt dirty to me, so I just couldn't do it. So anyways, God bless. It's not in the books. I guess I'll record another one down the road in a couple of weeks, and we'll give you another one. For now, I'm going to get back to my book, writing my book, and soon, a couple of months anyways, you'll be able to read Snowman Chronicles about 2 huge cocaine smugglers. In the meantime, make sure to check out my books, volumes 1 and 2, To Be a King, based on a fictional mafia family in Detroit, fictional. Make sure to check out Arthing Apparel at arthingapparel.com. It's custom. On the back of it, it'll have your city, your town. We do all the major cities and towns. And if you order anything embroidered, which means I'll do the fulfillment, I will send you a free book, a signed book. I got like hundreds of books signed by authors, and there's some really good ones, some great ones. And I throw it in there as a gift, just because it's a free gift, you know. So God bless if you're interested in it. I got so many good books, man. I guess The Last Nightingale by Anthony Flacco. I think he's a cop. He's a guy who was a cop. Oh, here's a great book right here I just found. This is the last one I got of Seth Ferrante's Street Legends. It's about like black drug kingpins and dope dealers from all over the, and he actually wrote this book while he was in prison. And he was in prison with the guys that he wrote this, a Fed joint. He did 27 years in prison, and he started writing. And anyway, Seth Ferrante, he's the one who did the White Boy Rick documentary that went viral on Netflix. And so good dude. And I was at his house a couple years ago, or a year and a half ago, for filming for a documentary about the mob's involvement in drugs. He gave me a couple of his books and said, "Here you go, man. You know, enjoy." I am not really into that type of thing. I'm not really into the whole street gang, mafia, gangster stuff at all. If I read, it'd be like, deer habitat management or something. That's what I read about. Dorky, and I know, but no, anyone who's into that stuff, God bless you. More power to you. It's just not me. I won't have. I find no fascination with the mafia or gangster or or lifestyle at all. Never really did. Maybe it's because I harbor some animus towards it now that I spent 13 years in prison, or I kind of came up around it or in it or was involved in it. And that street life cost me a lot, man. It cost me everything, and I'd reset my entire freaking life, lost all my loved ones, my girlfriend, my everything. So now when I think about, that life, I'm like, there's nothing enchanting about it. I sit here and read about some scumbag drug dealer or murderer or killer or gangster. Like, it's just not my thing. I don't care. I'd rather read a National Geographic or something. You know what I'm saying? I like to learn, just saying. So for now, God bless. Have fun. Make sure to check out Our Thing Apparel at ourthingapparel.com. My books, To Be a King, Volume 1 and 2, 5-star reviews. Well, it's like 4.8 because there's a couple hater douchebags who put fake reviews on there, but I don't care. You can tell which ones are real. Obviously, there's like 200 real ones and then 2 fake ones. Enjoy them. Just read the reviews. I suggest that you just read the reviews. Go through and read 8 or 10 or 20 of them, 50 of them. Just read them. See what people are saying. They're all organic and very clearly organic. There's people going, I met this guy on an airplane. I met this guy where, and then I heard about this book from a friend, and then they go on and on and on. I get messages all the time, a couple a week for sure, where people are just like, I just finished your book. Where's volume 3? When are you going to do volume 3? Da, 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 da. I'm like, it's coming. I had some chick randomly just message me yesterday. But she said, I just finished volume 2. Where's volume 3? And I said, well, how did you find my book? She says, I saw you comment on somebody else's post, looked at your profile, saw that you were a writer. She's like, I haven't read a book in 20 years, but I decided, what the hell, I'm going to order your book, and I read it. She's like, blew through volume 1 in like 3 days. Just blew through 500 pages. Could not believe how good it was, and said, I had to have volume 2, ordered it, and I just blew through volume 2, and amazing. She's like, you're an incredible writer. Unbelievable. Like, I haven't read a book in 20 years, and freaking yours just blew me away, man. Awesome. So where's volume 3? I'm like, it's coming. If I get a movie made from volume 1 or 2 or a TV series, I'll write volume 3. I've told the producer that. I've told people that. I'm not going to write it until I get it, because I'm going to play hardball. I'm going to play hard to get. I'll write volume 3 at same way Mario Puzo wrote The Godfather 3 after he gets the movie deal for 1 or 2, whatever. That's what I'm doing. God bless you, and be safe, be kind to people, be honest, and actually care. Karma, it's real. So make sure you're good to people, man. It'll come back and haunt you.
Former prisoner and inmate.
You did it. What are you doing, Guns?
You bit the hell out of me. Ah!
Wanna see you with your hands up. Going straight to the sky, let me see you put your hands up. Cause we do till we die and we on another level.
I'm at New York City.
To the rest of your body, got a piece of the pie. Told you once, told you twice that we only got one life.
On the way to